not, we all need financial help, and there's no doubt about that. I know that I need some financial help because every time I turn around, it seems like I'm further and further in debt, or at least dealing with those lovely people called the bill collectors. And I know Jay knows about those as well as other people also. But one of the things that is going on here on the network is that Kim Calhoun and Nick Palveda, the founders of Pod TV, have definitely been proponents of financial equity and financial literacy and a number of things along those lines. So when I ran across Jay Graham, who is the bookkeeper over at the Cultural Arts Center that I work at, the Hayti Heritage Center, and she was like, hey, I got this idea. I need to go out into the podcast world and all along those lines because we need some people that need some financial help. And she mentioned what she had done with her own kids as well as friends and all along those lines. And I was like, hey, that sounds like the idea for a podcast. So I brought her up, and she's got this great podcast. So I'm gonna bring her up, and she's gonna have some great conversation about a number of things going on and how we can do better and not deal with that horrible word called debt. Because definitely debt is unfortunately part of the financial landscape, and unfortunately sometimes you have to have that CPRR in order to get out of debt and to do in a better financial space. So I'm gonna step out of the way. I may come back later on. People hear a little bit of the noise in the background, like my washer and everything like that. But I'm gonna let you have the floor, and I may come back after a while and join in the conversation. But I know you've got this great presentation, and I am looking forward to it because I need help.
Thank you for that, Mark. I appreciate the great, wonderful, beautiful introduction. Hey everyone, how are you doing? I hope you're having a great day today. And as always, if you're not having a great day, that's nobody else's fault but yours. And if you're not having a great day, please don't bother anybody else and make their day miserable because you choose to have a bad day. Got it? So last episode, again, I want to thank you for inviting me back again. Episode, we had a conversation about our finances, and it was just a segue into where we're going and what's going on into the life of uncertainty right now. And Mark just came in and he talked about debt. Believe it or not, he had no idea that the topic of our conversation was to save, eliminate debt, and build financial peace. So even though you're living paycheck to paycheck, I know you saying, oh man, I'm already struggling with paycheck to paycheck trying to pay regular bills. And how am I supposed to save? Better yet, how am I supposed to go ahead and alleviate all this debt? I'm going to tell you how. First off, I want you to think about this. Again, I said, welcome everyone. If you ever looked at your bank account before swiping, I remember I said that last time. If you ever looked at your bank account before swiping, I know I have. Don't think about it until after I made that purchase, and then now we got buyer's remorse. Okay. Then we have, if you ever choose between paying a bill and buying groceries, or paying a bill and buying groceries and paying your mortgage, or paying your rent, or paying your insurance. Many of us in America and even in our own communities are faced with this right now. What do we do about it? Well, we can go ahead and moan and not pay the bill, but then unfortunately, if we do not pay the bill, what generally happens if we don't pay the bill, then something gets cut off. Or we end up having to pay other fees like late fees, financial fees, those fees, her fees, his fees, all the fees. Long story short, we got to pay the debt. But we can pay the debt and to alleviate a lot of stress that comes with that. If you ever wonder where your paycheck went before the month was over, I know you have, because honestly, I have also. I'm wondering that sometime now, even though I'm a consultant, that those times in being a consultant, you have to learn to manage because you only get paid once a month. And now you got to go out there and get harder, get more, more clients and so forth. So, but if you're living from paycheck to paycheck or invoice to invoice, let's take a trip down, save, eliminate debt, and build financial peace. Okay. Today, we're talking about something many people experience, but few want to discuss. That's living from paycheck to paycheck. Why? Because we think it's actually embarrassing because we're living from paycheck to paycheck. Because one, we have an MBA, a CPA, a doctorate, a master's, I said MBA, associates, or we have the professional experience. Paycheck to paycheck does not care about your title. It does not care about your education. It cares about the fact that you have a job, inflation increased, everything increased, groceries, gas, housing expense, living expense, entertainment expense, everything increased except for one thing. Yes, that is your paycheck. That is the only thing that did not increase. So what we're going to do now, the goal is I always say, first thing, breathe, let it go. Breathe in, let it go. Welcome to No Judgment Zone, because we're not going to judge ourselves. What we're going to do is learn from what we did and move forward with from struggling in the strive to now thriving in your transition. Okay. So now raise your hand if you think you'll ever catch up by next payday. I know, right? If you ever pay one bill late for another, same question. Have you ever been excited about payday only to realize out of the blue something, ACH, a child, a family member, car expense came at an unforeseen time? Me, I can tell you that. That is my truth. Living invoice to invoice and paycheck to paycheck, you can't, and sometimes it's very, very hard to budget in those processes and in between. Now you want me to save, and now you want to say I can eliminate debt, and also on top of that, try to repair my credit. Oh my God, how am I supposed to do all of this at one sitting? You can't, not in one sitting, because remember, it didn't take you one sitting to get here. So now we're going to reverse engineer, and we're going to come up with a blueprint, a plan, a map to journey towards your financial freedom and your debt freedom. Okay. So let's talk about this. Why are so many people living from paycheck to paycheck? Well, the reason why we're living from paycheck to paycheck, as I mentioned earlier, everything is on the rise. Gas, repairs to your car, unexpected expense. Oh my God. Here's another one. Utilities companies. So I had the unforeseen experience, which is recent, to realize months back that, the utility company decided they were going to upgrade their system. No problem with the upgraded system, but everything stopped in the upgrade of the system, like your automatic draft. So you're going on with your day to day, unbeknownst to the fact that you have to go in your bank account and check to see if your lights bill, your utility bill have been paid. Well, it has been paid because your lights are on. So you're thinking to yourself, hey, automatic draft, it works. Lo and behold, as I said months ago, what happened was I decided I got a bill in the mail. And it says, welcome to our new system. So forth, please look at your information to ensure they're correct. I looked at my bill, $800. Yes, $800. Well, due to the system, they stopped automatic drafts. They didn't call anybody. And the utility company said, hey, we posted on social media, so you can go out on social media and find that information out. That didn't stop the fact that I had an $800 bill that needed to be paid. Now, that is what I told you, that it was an unforeseen thing that happened. So what do? You're not prepared for that. So you have to get prepared for that. Another thing is rising costs. Food costs is going up. And the food doesn't even last long like it's supposed to, but that's going up. And then you have lack of financial education that doesn't help people who are trying to figure it out from paycheck to paycheck. They only know is go to work, I receive my check, and when I receive my check, I pay these bills. Everything is going up. Now we have unexpected emergencies. Now we have habits that we need to unlearn that we had before. Now we just have a lot of things going on, which actually triggers your trauma and emotional spending, because now you're trying to get a way to be able to control the environment that is actually not your fault. Okay. Now, again, that is why I launched Financial CPRR, to help those. I can't say help. I don't like to say that word, help. To journey with those, partner with you to get you out of this financial trauma and deliver you from the financial stress, so that you begin to see your way clear on the financial journey. Okay, great. Let's take it. So now we understand what our financial CPRR means. We have the 4 phases, which is commitment, prioritize, reconcile and rebuild. We know commitment is, I'm commit to my future plan on what I want. I'm going to prioritize the things, my wants before my needs. I'm also going to reconcile and forgive myself for my spending habits because I didn't know. And now I'm going to rebuild my financial future. Okay. So let's hop on in. Needs versus wants. We already know this. This is going back to the basics. We have our needs, which is the living expenses, our day to day, which is our mortgage, our rent, car payment, car insurance, all of those great things that we have. Okay. And then we have our wants. I want to go out to eat. I want to go thrifting. I want to go to the movies. I want to go on a cruise. I want to go out of the country. We have those wants, but we don't want to have those exciting, pleasurable, meaningful wants that we so well deserve and come back and still have to deal with the needs because the needs outweigh the wants. Okay. So now we're going to talk about what it means to have the financial peace. Okay. The financial peace rule that we have is we want to be able to have a certain amount of money to where we give. We want to be able to give to our wants. Our wants is when you look at your bill, as I gave the calculation last week, you get the total, not the percentage, not only what you want, not what you think you're going to get, but the total amount of your spending. Divide that times 0.5, which is half, 0.5, and then you multiply it by how long? 12 months, because you have to pay these bills 12 months. So when you multiply those by 12 months, then you come up with the exact amount of money that you need to have for your salary. Yes. And I gave the example, 3,000 divided by 0.5, which gives you 6,000 times 12 is 72,000. So that is how much you need to make for your salary to be able to have the proper living expense so that you will not be at least living from paycheck to paycheck. As I previously mentioned last week, most of us look at the dollar. 120,000, 150,000, 85,000, or better yet, I just settle for 60,000. But then you do not take into consideration of your wants, the expenses in your household. That includes your wants, your needs, your savings, your debt, tuition, college tuition for you, your children, things that you have, credit card payments. All of those are part of that package plan that we don't think about when we are negotiating our salary. So sometimes we can't afford to not take the bare minimum or take less because we're going to end up struggling again. And next thing you know, we're going to dig ourselves in a deeper hole. Okay. So let's focus on that. Another thing we want to think about in going forth with our challenge or financial, what's going on with the uncertainty, we want to be able to understand, like I said, focusing on the leaks. I remember we spoke about leaks last week. The leaks is those things that you have that you can really truly do without. I know one of mine is I have someone to cut my grass. But in me cutting my grass or having them cut my grass, I can cut my own grass and save amount of money that I can. The only reason why I haven't been able to cut my grass now is, for one, not the fact that it's hot, but my lawnmower broke down and I need a carburetor. And again, I live from invoice to invoice. So I am learning and teaching myself as I'm teaching others about invoice to invoice, meaning for you if you're self-employed, or paycheck to paycheck if you're employed. So those things I learned to, like, I can work on cutting. So what I do in the meantime, I cut my thrifting. I cut the leaks of spending going out to eat. I cut, not saying all of my social entertainment, but just some of those social entertainments. Or better yet, when I leave the home, I give myself a budget. Yes. Budget does not mean I cannot have fun. It means I have fun at a limit, right? At a limit. Like when I leave the house now, I make sure that I grab my little pad here, right here. I keep this with you. Keep this with me. You should keep one. When I leave the house, I write the things down that I have to get, so that when I'm out, I don't overspend, because if you take notice, when you go to the store, when you go out run an errand, you get frustrated with the traffic, you get frustrated with people, and you say, I'm just going to pop in this store. I know I don't need anything. Well, if you don't need anything, why are we popping in the store? Good question. Good question, Jay. Good question. So when you don't need anything and you pop in the store, temptation lives in the store. You will see something because you're not looking, but what you'll do is find what you're not looking for. So now, where you were supposed to have spent your groceries and so forth on your pad that you put down, now you end up jumping into Ross, a thrift store, TJ Maxx, Hobby Lobby, and now just looking around, and where you would have called yourself to pay only $50, now $150, because you saw something, you saw a dress that you really had to have. You love the color and you love the style and you love the fit, knowing that its color and style and fit is similar to what you have in your closet already. So those are the things that we have to learn to pull back on until we can get straight in our financial situation. Another thing that I want you to focus on is, when is the last time you ran your credit report? Was that a cricket? Was that a cricket? Did you hear the cricket? I heard the cricket. When is the last time that you ran your credit report? When is the last time you looked at your credit report to see what needs to be paid off, what's going to fall off, or what is affecting your score so much to where you went from 620 to 510? Those things hurt you in the interim, because the reason why they hurt is because when you go out to go get credit cards, or you decided you want a new home, or you want to go get an apartment, downsize, or you want a new car, that APR, which is called your annual percentage rate, is really driven by, one, your payment history. Is driven by also the fact that there are things that are sitting on your credit report that have not been dealt with. So every year, once a year, it's free. 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 How much does it cost? It costs 0.00. It costs free.com to go online to annualcreditreport.com. Not promoting. I'm not promoting credit report. I'm not promoting them. I'm promoting you getting to know your financial situation and breaking those habits. Don't be afraid to look at your credit. Again, remember, this is a no judgment zone. Don't judge it. Just deal with it. It's not going to go away. It's not going to drop off. You will find out you are more powerful than you think in handling everything you have to handle. So when you pull your credit report, you look at your credit report and you find out all the things that need to be taken care of. And then what you do, this is my go-to as a finance person. My go-to is think about the elephant in the room. The elephant is a huge thing. Tackle the small thing first. Tackle what you can handle first. My mother always taught me, hey, if you can't do one thing, call, make arrangement. Tell them, I can only pay blah, blah, blah. What would you do to take care of this credit situation? What can you do to write it off? Well, you negotiate yours. But also remember, before you negotiate what you have, far as who has it, make sure you read the fine print to say if that person or that company or that organization can have your credit report, your credit information, to where you are paying them. Always look at the fine print, because if you're not paying them and you're paying someone else, they're acting as a third party. But make sure you read the fine print in your contract to say, hey, if they're a third party, or they can hire a third party on their behalf to collect the money, okay, then just look at it. Read fine print. Don't be fooled. Just read the fine print. All right. Let's look into how you can also get to your financial peace. When you receive income, you can give. There's a rule to that. It's like the 40, 30, 20, but it ends up being 100%. Okay. But mine is different. Mine is 40% on my wants, my needs. My needs is my home. The things are inside. The 30% is on my wants. 10% is savings, and the other 10% is paying off debt. So that equates to think it's 100%. Yeah. So you have to break that financial one down based on you. There are a lot of them out there. It's the 50, 30, 10, 20, and so forth. As long as you get to the 100% for you, do the rule for you. If you need more help with that, I'll leave my information and I'll give you my information in so that I can walk you through that. Okay. Another thing you want to do is think of ways that you can pay off your debt. Pay off debt, again, tackle the smallest ones first. Say, for instance, you have a credit card bill. Your credit card bill is, your statement is, or the total amount is like $1,000. And you've been paying $200 each month. So you're down to the last payment. Okay. Don't take the $200 and say, I have some free money. No, take that other $200 and add it to another bill that you are paying for. And then you begin to pay it off. This is what we call the snowball method. And it gets you out of debt really quickly. Okay. And that goes for car payment. That goes towards your mortgage. If you can, that's a big if. But remember, we can do all things through Christ, which strengthens us. So if you can, start thinking about paying 1 month ahead, or paying extra on your mortgage, or paying extra on your car payment. But make sure you call into those companies and let them know, hey, I'm paying it on the principal, not the interest. Okay. Always key. You want to pray on the principal. Your principal amount is the total amount of your loan. Okay. Next, you want to think about your spends and your wants of when you receive income. Do the wait. Wants. I want a pair of shoes. Need. Do I need it? No, I do not. And then you begin to take those measures and ask yourself questions as you walk in the store that you don't really need to be walking in, and say, do I really want this, or do I need this? Or do what I do. And many people do this too. You just want to be in the store sometimes. Just walk around with the stuff in your buggy. By the time you walk around 4 or 5 good times, maybe 2 or 3, what you put in your buggy so far is, it will come out of it. And that's when you know that it is truly some emotional spending that's attached to that. And you have to go deep down and say, okay, why? What is really emotional? What I'm really dealing with right now to cause me to go spend this money that I need for this bill? Why not take the same amount of money and put it towards that debt that I need to pay off? We're on a road to being $10,000, saving $10,000 in a year. That's the road that you need to think about. That's the road that you need to be on. Other roads don't really matter. Be on that road to be, you have $10,000 a year. How do you do that? You start putting away $27 every day. Again, same thing I said, $27. And if you can't do it every day, put it every week. It equates to $189. And if you can't do every week, then you can say, okay, I'm going to do it for a month. That equates to $183, $133. How do you do that? Well, Jay, I'm already living paycheck to paycheck. I'm already doing this. I'm already, okay, I get that. I know. Trust me, I know. Living paycheck to paycheck, but you go out to eat maybe 2 to 3 times a day. That's $27. You don't have to eat every day. Out. You do have to eat, just not out. So it's those things that we have to begin to start sacrificing, how we move forward to our $10,000 a year savings. And that's how you start to eliminate debt. And I have some traction on how we actually can start and begin to eliminate the debt. I know it's hard. It is. Trust me. It is hard. And you're living debt to paycheck, invoice to invoice, and you're maxing out your credit cards. I know. Been there, done that. As a matter of fact, let me see if I got a t-shirt that I can give, because I got one on that one. But our goal is to be financially set and ready for anything that comes up, to where, say for instance, you want to change from being a remote person to being in the brick and mortar. And it's an opportunity available for you. Do you have the money in the event? No. I remember it was an opportunity available for me to go into, because I said I wanted to go into the office and work. I want to have my own building to where I'm not remote and I don't have to travel far. And it was a sure price. Like, it was only $120 a week. Do you know I didn't have that? Years ago, I didn't have it. I was like, oh my God, I remember that so clearly. I don't have $120. I remember having a conversation with someone too, and they told me there was an opportunity available for them to do a big thing in their business. And they didn't have the money, they didn't have the investment, they didn't have the resources. So now what they're doing is making themselves available and ready for any event and any resources that come about that they can go ahead and jump on that opportunity of a lifetime. Doors open, windows open. We just got to be ready when the opportunities come for us to jump right in. Okay? Got it? I hope this information is helping you, because it's helping me giving it to you, because it makes me go back to the basics of understanding, reading my agreements. Everything we do with people, we have an agreement with them. You have agreement with the light people, you have agreement with the water people, you have agreement with everyone. Our contractual agreement is to make sure that the things that we sign off on, that we can actually do. And I know at one time we should be able to do that. And I know things change, but now we got to make adjustments. Okay. The next thing we have right now that we're going on is we're looking at remember I talked about understanding your credit. So now let's move quickly to credit and repair. This is a big hit. This is a big one for me. When I say big one, this is huge. Credit and repair. Because remember, I said earlier how our credit really affects what we get. You can get a nice car. The difference between what is it, 6.5 to 6 point APR and an 18% APR is your payment. A 5.6 APR, if they still exist, it'll give you approximately maybe a maybe $500 car payment, depending on your credit score, right? A 19% APR will give you close to $800 or more on your car payment. Really, and it all depends on your credit. Our credit follows us from years to years. I'm telling my daughter now, she's 21, and I'm teaching my daughter from the things that I didn't know that were never taught to me. Only thing I heard was, well, take care of your credit. No reason why. Pretty much like your mom say, because I said so. I need more information. Now I understand the significance of taking care of your credit. So now I teach my daughter from the things that I didn't know. Here's how you take care of your credit. Whatever you pay for, whatever you get, pay for it. Don't pay late payments. If you can't afford it, don't get it. When you pay the late payments, try not to pay the late payments. There you go. Simple. Try not to late payments. Because once you make late payments, it takes your credit score down, I think about five points. That's terrible. Past 30 days, depending, that's usually about 20 to 50 points. Crazy, right? I know. So I tell her now, she just got her first credit card. Yay! Her first credit card. So I gave her the history of the credit card. Statement date versus due date. She asked me, when do you pay it? You pay both. Huh? Okay. If you have a bill, and I gave her the formula too. If you have a bill, your credit, your car payment or your balance, not car payment, your credit card balance is $200 and you make a minimum of $25 payment, you'll never get out of that. But if your balance is like $200, you pay $100 on the statement date, and then you pay $100 on the due date. So by the time your statement comes around, it looks like you don't have a balance, and your credit score is going up on those 2 dates. And if you can, try not to pay the minimum. Minimum, you're only paying interest. You have to pay a little bit more and pay the principal of that, okay? The best thing I would tell an individual who gets that credit card is to, whatever you pay for, keep the payments low so you can afford it, and also keep your usage rate down. People tell you, hey, do 35%. No, keep that usage rate down to between 25%. Because if 25%, as long as it stays under that balance, 25% under that balance, your credit score gonna look good, okay? Another thing about your credit score, your credit card, one thing I would tell you about the credit card is when you get the credit card, make sure you check the APR. Make sure you check your charges. Make sure you check how long. I have a debt plan on that too that breaks it down how long the minimum, the APR, and the total will take you to pay off. I mean, it's really, really that serious when it comes to the credit card, okay? Because it affects your credit. It affects it really bad. So you will want to make sure you get those due date together. The best practice, what I'll tell, is pay your balance before the statement date. That's the best, I would tell you. Whatever your balance is, pay it before the statement date. Pay it on the statement date. If you can pay it before it, that's great. If you can pay it on it, that's even better, but pay it. 5 credit repair habits. I know I'm going fast because I just want to have time for questions. 5 credit repair habits I have for everyone. And this is really great. Pay every bill on time. Time. Generally, what I do with people is I give them, if I'm doing business or personal finance coaching, I would say, okay, when are your bills due? They would tell me. I said, okay, here's, you have half of a month. You have the first and the 15th. You had the first, and then you had the 15th, 16th. First through the 15th, put them in a category. 16th to the 31st, you have another category. Let me tell you, here's a quick funny one. You have 3 weeks from the time you pay your bills from the first, and 2 weeks from the last portion of it to get money again to be able to pay the second round. Okay? Always remember that. So for the first bills, by the time you get your money for the first, if you have to break it down into sections, you can, right? Like if you get paid on the first of the week, then make sure whatever you left from the previous month, you have enough to cover those expenses for the first part of the week from your mortgage, your rent, car payment, insurance, those essentials, waters, lights, so forth. Okay. Now, I said earlier, keep your utilization low on your credit cards. I know we're using our credit cards a lot because we are living in uncertain times. But if it's to the point to where you may need to go out and get a part-time side gig, side hustle, hey, this is a good time to focus on that talent that God gave you and say, okay, you know what? I've been holding back on marketing. I've been holding back on promoting this. I've been holding back on writing that devotional, that book. I've been holding back on starting my business. Maybe this is the best time to go ahead and start it. Now you got residual income, sources of income coming in. If you got a property, then now you have not property tax. Now you have passive income, but we can talk about that in another time if you invite me back again. Let's talk about review the credit reports. As I mentioned earlier, review your credit reports. Your credit reports it's a following of the history of what you have done. And some things may be bad. Okay, we all have bad things in our credit report. We have things that we've done and we're not happy with. But what we can say now, we can be in a place to we can actually start fixing those things. And we can have a process on how to fix those things. And if you're interested in knowing that process, let me know. Drop a comment, send an email, and I'll share that with you with the next episode if you invite me back again. I hope you will. The fourth thing, avoid AVOID opening too many new accounts. No matter what Credit Karma, Credit Wise, no matter what they say, hey, open this account to help your credit. Yeah, it will help it, but if you don't pay it on time and you don't have the residual to pay that, it's not going to help. It's only going to do more damage and it's going to frustrate you more. Now you brought another layer of financial trauma. Now you got another level of emotional stress. Now you got another level of emotional spending habits. Oh, now we're just all over the place. Okay. So don't open up credit cards and new accounts right now until you can get a handle on what you have. That way to save you less stress, less time, less energy, and you start working on the credit score increase. I want you to start working on that. Again, go pull your credit report. Go do one thing. Start removing all of those old names, old addresses. That helps too. Old names, old addresses, old phone numbers, old employees, all of that grand stuff. If you're looking on your credit report and there are items that have been paid, that are charged off, that are still lingering out there, go ahead and get those removed. They got letters out there to get those removed. Okay. Take care of that. It's gonna boost you up. Okay. Now, most importantly, Rome wasn't built in a day. Your credit didn't get bad in a month. It happened over time. Be patient with yourself. Take time to clear it up. Every time, get about maybe 10, 30 minutes during the course of your day. Focus on one thing. Look up and see how you can repair. Hey, Chat GPT, it seems to be the AI tool of figuring things out. Ask Chat GPT, what is the best strategy for me to boost my credit score from a 530 to 750 or a 620 or whatever? Do that, okay? Be consistent. Don't do too many fixes at a time. Get a time span. Okay. Because once you do too many at a time, it looks like it doesn't look good when you start reporting those disputes. I forgot the word they use, but it doesn't look that good. Get a habit, get a journal. Start saying, I'm going to do this on this day. I'm going to do this a day. If it has to be mostly just disputing, charges and stuff like that. But your addresses and phone numbers and all that other stuff, last name, if you were married and not married anymore and you want to go ahead and fix that, do that. Okay. All right. Small improvements every month create a lasting financial effect. Okay. Every month, small ones. That means don't try to tackle the elephant at one time with your debt. Small improvements. It'll make you feel good. It may not make you feel good in the first 30 days, but when you see a 5% increase on your FICO score, and I hope you know what FICO score is and which is essential and which is not essential. If you don't, let me know. We'll chat about it the next time, okay? Credit repair mindset. We're almost coming to a close. I want you to have a credit repair mindset. The credit repair mindset is simply this. Your credit score, and I had to learn this the hard way, particularly when I bought my first home. Your credit score does not define who you are, regardless of what people tell you, regardless of what social media says. Your credit score is not who you are. Your credit score is what somebody tells you who you are. Who you are is an individual who didn't know how to manage money, who didn't understand money, and didn't understand the significance and the value that it played over a lifetime. So now you, as the individual, are learning these things. So since you're learning, this is how we learn. This is what we do. Next thing I want you to learn is every on-time payment is one step closer to your financial success. If you've been behind in payments, there are things that you can do. If you have a home and you're behind in your home, we can talk about the hardship on that one. Everything that I'm talking about to you today, and it's being, sometimes it's being very, very transparent because sometimes you don't want to tell your secrets or the things that you go on because you want to give the facade of everything is okay. I gave that up a long time ago because those secrets in the facade, I'm trying to make people believe I'm okay when I'm really not, didn't help me. They didn't help me when I was out there trying to get the mail at the mailbox and it was a bill. They weren't there to, help me pay my bills. And I don't see them emailing me and calling and say, hey, Jay, what's your cash app on? I'm going to give you some. No, I didn't see that. So regardless of what you go through, okay, just don't even worry about it. We are rebuilding. We are rebuilding to your financial success, okay? In closing, we learn paycheck to paycheck what we need to do, minimizing the things that we spend and how we spend, fixing the leaks, getting credit reports, ding, 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 credit reports, www freeannualcreditport.com. I think that's what it's called. Go get your report. Go get your report. Don't be scared to look at it. Okay? Save it. Start disputing. Then we learn small habits, create a change. The first small habits you can do is, hey, break down in your spending. The second thing you can do is adjust your financial spend. The third thing that you can actually do is pull your credit report. And when you pull your credit report, go through the back of it and see how many names you have. See if those names are yours. See if those address was yours. Some address I had on mine, that wasn't even mine. I'm like, Michigan? What? Okay, let's start paying attention to what we didn't know. Again, no judgment zone. We didn't know it. But now that we know, we do better, okay? We learn how to understand small habits. We learn how to manage the savings. Savings, I told you, the $27 one a day. If $27 too much, you break down however you want to break down to save, but make the goal savings challenging. Somebody could say, I could save 1,000. Okay, make it challenging for you, because those things that are easy for you, anybody can do that. Make it challenge to where you can actually commit, prioritize, reconcile, and rebuild. Okay. Now, you don't need a perfect income to build your financial freedom, your debt freedom, your financial future. You need a plan. One check, one budget, one decision, one habit. That's how we begin our financial journey. Okay? My closing affirmation for you is I want you to repeat this every day, all day, no matter what you go through in life. The closing affirmation for you right now would be this: I forgive myself for what I did not know. I choose progress over perfection. I will give my money a purpose. Every dollar has a job, regardless. Put the dollar to the job of the needs first before you put the dollar to the wants. Every dollar has a job. When you think of your dollar has a job, then you assign that job to that dollar to that job. This week, my dollar has a job to go pay car insurance. It may leave me with a little bit of money, but at least car insurance there. The next thing I want you to have is I want you to give money your purpose. I will build healthy financial habits. I will protect my peace. I will rebuild my financial future. This is when your financial CPRR starts. I'm glad. If there are any questions, if there are any comments, I'm hopeful that you guys will bring me back next week so we can talk about some more things. If you got some things that you want to talk to me about, let me know. Let me
Yeah, we'll
know.
definitely bring you back. There were definitely, like I said, the founders are big on fiscal and financial responsibility and all along those lines. But there is a part of what you're talking about that really gets on my nerve and everything like that. And I'd love to hear your thoughts about this because there is something that we are all guilty of. I know I'm guilty of it. I know other people are guilty of it as well. And it comes back to that notion of credit, which you were talking about, and all along those lines. And sometimes we have a habit of living beyond our means and all along those lines. And the banks sometimes will let you go into debt because they love to give those little fees and everything like that. And then you turn around and you'll be like, wait a minute, how come I'm in the negative and all in that space? Because they will slap you with an additional fee to go with the fact that you have overdrawn your account and everything like that. So I know that that is a trick that banks use to stay afloat and everything like that, but it's not all that cool. But I do know the banks have been doing this for decades, and there are some banks that are worse than others and everything like that because some of those charges can be very astronomical and all along the
Astronomical.
line.
Yes, they can be. I know, right?
Yeah, so that's one of the things that people have to be careful about is living, like I said, not living beyond your means and not paying those fees. I mean, yeah, you may live paycheck to paycheck, and then you might be in debt, and then you get your salary or your money, whatever it may come, even if it's contract work, and then you're like, okay, I'm above the ground. But it's that fluctuating above and underground kind of conversation that too many people get trapped in, and some of these are very educated people, and all along those lines. The other thing I was going to tell you, and I think you'll get a kick out of this, is I was on the bus because that's how I get around and everything like that. I think it was yesterday, actually heading to Hayti, and all along those lines. And I saw a gentleman. He was actually a union organizer, and all in that space. And he was reading a book called "A Union of Our Own." But he worked at one of our burger establishments because you know there's food trucks all over. And you're talking about side hustles. There are food trucks all over the Triangle in places like Angier, Clayton, Raleigh, Durham. There are hundreds, maybe thousands of food trucks. Seems like every time you turn around, somebody else is
It's the
getting
food truck.
a food truck
Exactly.
and everything like that. But one of the things that he was telling me is that in the early days of the food truck craze here in North Carolina, and particularly in Durham, there were two primary food trucks. One of them was Only Burger. The other one was Pie Pusher, which is a pizza food truck. Both of them have their own mortar stores, like brick and mortar stores. But the gentleman was actually telling me that the gentleman that started one of these early food trucks, so we're talking 20, 25 years ago and everything like that, maybe even longer, he still has that same food truck. So because he was joking, he was like, he needs to get a new food truck, but he doesn't want to get a new food truck because the food truck is still working. It's still working, even though it's probably been on the road and has all kinds of mileage. And he probably does need a new one, and maybe eventually he will invest in a new food truck. But I know
Yes.
that this co-worker of his was joking, going like, "Hey, wait a minute, he should be investing in a kind of what you were talking about, brick and mortar, and wanting a brick and mortar in
Hmm.
either getting a brick and mortar or getting a better food truck." But hey, if he's comfortable with the food truck and the food truck is still working and it's still going after 20, 25 years, I say
Yeah.
more power to him and everything
Yes.
like that. But I just thought that was funny, the notion that this gentleman was still apparently driving that original food truck. Like I said, like I said, there are thousands of those food trucks now, and he was one of the original two. Because when I think of food trucks here in Durham, those were the first two that I heard about. There might have been others, but those are the first two
Right.
that I heard about, and everything like that.
And that helps, that really helps in looking at it, the things that we really want. Like, do we really need the things that getting new things all the time? Is it really necessary? Like getting new phones, is that really necessary? Is the phone really that bad? My phone experience this time was my phone literally, and when I say crashed out, it crashed out. I couldn't even see the screen anymore. And I'm still trying to use it. And my doors and the series, the generation was like, I think it was like an 8, and it was just like 2 years ago that I finally let my phone go, and I'm still like, no, I mean, what can I do? So we got to really pay attention to our wants, our needs versus our wants, because we really got to be mindful of that, because some things that we really need or we really have, that money could go towards actually fixing your credit, because it really helps, particularly when your APR is so high. I have seen 18 APR, 24 per APR, and it doesn't help when you buy a card this way, because now the value you're upside down in your car when you go get another car, because now your car is not worth what you've actually paid for it. So that means if you bought a car for $16,000 and you got a 24.99 APR, by the time you finish paying for your car, you would have paid at least $40,000, if not more, for your car. So now when you go get your car, you're upside down because you pay too much for it.
Yeah.
God forbid if you get into an accident and you lose your car. Most people don't even know about when you have the car to get the gap insurance. But we're looking at the life of the car and the luxury of the car and the beauty of the car. And we're not looking at the things to be able to keep the car, such as the gap insurance in the event that something happened. Because when that happened, I had a car accident back in September 30th, 2022 or 2023, and I total lost my car. But if I did not have the gap insurance, and my car was literally like only 2 years old, if that, if I didn't have the gap insurance on my car, I would have been, it would have been, when I go get another car, I would have been upside down based on, me not knowing or me not understanding the way money, current APR, credit, all of that flows. Even though we get into life situations to where we can't really help what happens to us, we're paying late fees, we're paying, or we're missing payments. We can't help that because our financial situation, or we out, or can we help that? Because if we are living paycheck to paycheck, then why are we going on so many vacations? Because we need to feel good for the moment. But then for the moment, then you're circling back to where you were before. We can change how we do our vacations. Not saying, hey, you don't need a vacation. Everybody needs a vacation. But we have to really be mindful of not just living for the day, but living for our financial success for tomorrow.
No, that makes sense. Hey, Jay, just really quickly, along those same lines, how important do you think it is to have, and this may be a future episode and all along those lines, some sort of emergency fund and everything like that? Because we don't know. I know we've got a show here on the network that's about Medicare, but you don't know. I mean, I literally could be heading to Hayti tomorrow and have an accident. Hopefully it won't happen, but you never can tell when you might have a slip and fall and all along those lines. And those are unexpected expenses. So how
Correct.
important do you think it is to have some sort of emergency fund for whatever those emergencies may be, and all along those lines? Because I think sometimes we're not prepared for what
Yes.
can happen to anybody. So how important do you think it is to have some sort of emergency fund?
That's a great question, Mark. In my 52-week program called my financial CPRR, what we're going touching on here now, I I really stress that all through the 52 weeks. I really every fourth part of those phases, I stress having, and even I structured you to the path to where you can start having that emergency savings in the event that something should happen. I tell my daughter now, hey, I need you before you leave this house to have this amount of money saved up before you leave on and go out on your own. And I need you to show me. I need you to show me to where you have money invested in, not in just the IRA or anything, or Roth or traditional stuff like that. No, I need you to show me where I see some stocks and some bonds and something like that, so that when you get my age, then you will be actually working smarter and not harder. So in other words, it used to be a time to where they would say, hey, you need 3 months of reserves. Well, the way the economy is now, I really would push 6 months. And if you're a business, I will put a whole year of operating reserves on the line, because again, you need to have that backup in the event that you have a slow season. Then you have like not in your peak season, you still need to be able to pay your employees, pay your vendors, because just because you're having a slow peak season, that doesn't mean anything to someone that you have to pay bills for. So for you, for individuals, for us, yes, we need to have 6 months reserves. And I know, honestly, Mark, I know that that is very, very difficult when people are living paycheck to paycheck. So that's where the sacrifice comes in, to where you have to start cutting leaks. You have to start being mindful of where you are and discern the times. You see where we are, you see how jobs are. If you need to go out there and get a side hustle, like I said, invest in your future, start your business. If you've been waiting for a long time, maybe this is a season to go ahead and start doing it. If you're good at resumes, hey, maybe it's a good season, because I know right now it will be fluent for someone to get resume writing done right now, particularly with a lot of people out of work. If you want to start being an HR recruiter, hey, you have individuals and businesses that I see right now that are looking for help, and they need to be able to, I don't want to go ahead and look for this, I want somebody else to look for it. So this is a time in the season that is either, it's up to the individual. It could be a good season or it could be a bad season. Me coming out of work, or having my contract in it, it was a great season to do what I've been doing in corporate America. I'm good at numbers. I'm good at revenue recognition, looking at that. I'm good at general level. I'm good at bookkeeping. I'm good at preparing financial reports. I'm good at doing an unaudited financial. I'm good at those things. So why not bring those things to the forefront to get the financial that I need in my house? So this is a time you have to learn your talents. So yeah, three used to be 3 months. I was like, yeah, now where we are, 6 months for business, 12.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
agree.
stretch to get there, but you can get there.
You definitely need those money in reserve for those emergencies. And all along those lines, I mean, you may have support people that can help you, but you don't always want to depend on them. And all along those lines, I agree that 6 months is a good amount to have. And all along those lines, you were talking about the phone earlier, and we're ready to wrap up and everything like that. And I do think that sometimes there are investments that we need to have that some people may not think how important they are. But I know that you were talking about the phone breaking and your phone not being. I've been in that position where the phone has been cracked, and I am a big advocate, because there is a store near me and everything like that, of getting those screen protectors, because we do know that those phones can slip and fall, and sometimes those screen protectors can help in those matters and everything like that. So I would definitely suggest that people get those screen protectors as well. If you want to, give your email, and they can also reach me at bluesradio@gmail.com, because we do want people to see this show on a regular basis.
Okay.
Excuse me, those that are with the network and those in other places as well.
Okay.
No, definitely. Hopefully, they'll be generating some questions for you.
Perfect. My email address is jaye at anchored, ANCHORED, success management, abbreviated MGMT.com.
And they can find me at bluesradio@gmail.com. So if you have questions for Jay, either email Jay directly, or you can email me here at the network. And hopefully, we'll get some questions, because we do know a lot of people are in need of this financial help and all along those lines. So you've done another great job and another great
Thank you.
and amazing show. And we look forward to seeing you back next week. And I've already talked to the founders of the network, and they love the fact that we have a financial show. And we actually, I got to meet with somebody on Friday, because there are a couple of new shows that have being launched and everything like that. So your one is one about psychology. I'm actually talking to somebody that's going to be connected to the Hayti Business Expo this Saturday. That is got a group of black chefs. So we may have a cooking
Ooh.
show coming to the network soon as well. And there's a woman out of Virginia that is dealing with the elderly community. So she may be having a show about elderly care and all along those lines. So I got to meet with her on Friday and everything like that. So there's new shows, and if anybody has a thing that they're interested in talking about, I'm always looking for new shows as well, particularly if they are about things that we all need knowledge about and everything like that. So you've done a great job. This is week 2, and I think that we're going to be having fun, and hopefully we can do this for like 5, 6, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Just have you becoming the next Oprah of society and everything like that. So I'm already claiming it for you. You're the next Oprah and everything like that.
Thank you, thank you. And before we close it out, I would like to leave the audience with one question until we meet again. My question would be would be, if you could improve one financial habit this month, what would it be? How would you start? And where would it take you to?
Yep, that's a great question and everything like that. I know some people, because we have a cruise show here in the network, love going on cruises. So I'm going to go out with one of these cruises. I know you've been on a couple of cruises. I've only been on one in my life. I actually want to go on more and everything like that, but it is on my bucket list to get on more cruises. So this is from one of our cruise supporters, and there is a cruise show that is usually on Friday afternoons around 3 or 4 o'clock. She actually kind of fluctuates and everything like that. And also Captain Newborn, who is a friend of mine, has written a book. So it's a book about his family's history and its history connected to slavery. And he's the gentleman that I did the road with the Apollo to and everything like that. It actually started in Hayti and then traveled around the state of North Carolina and everything like that, and was around for 10 years. So I'm definitely going to have his book advertisement as well. But Jay, you did another great job, and we look forward to seeing you back here again on the 12th. I will tell you that on the 19th, we'll probably take that week off because that's the day that Ta-Nehisi Coast will be at Hayti. So
Oh,
I think
wow,
all hands
yes.
will be on
Yes.
deck and everything like that. But we will have a show on the 12th and the 26th, but we'll probably rerun one of these on the 19th because I know I'll be there and you'll probably be there as well and everything like that. So we'll
Yes.
definitely run next week and also the 26th, but not on the 19th.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
No problem.
Sea views for days. Runs I'm actually excited to go on. And breakfast mojitos because it's tradition on vacation, right? Oh, and when I tell you the Virgin Voyages food is absolutely unreal, and it's all included, it almost feels too good to be true. Cheers to that, right? This has been truly amazing, but next time, you really need to be here.
They were never supposed to win. In a system built to keep black families landless, one decision changed everything. Bitter Ground's Inheritance tells the true story of heirs who fought through Jim Crow, courts, challenges, and silence to claim land, wealth, and legacy. Told by descendant Captain Newborn, this is more than a story, it's a rare victory. A must-read that exposes America's hidden past. Get your copy today.
This is gonna be great.
You're gonna like it here.
You're gonna love it here.
You're gonna work hard here. You're gonna meet new people.
And learn new things.
Great things.
And do stuff you never thought you'd do.
Let me lay it all out for you.
Auto shop.
Solar panels.
Computer lab.
Biomed lab.
Language lab. Dental lab.
Phlebotomy.
Oh, I hate needles.
Financial aid office. Well, that's important.
Fire academy. Seriously? Cafe. Bookstore.
Welding shop.
But that's not the best part.
The best part?
Amazing teachers.
Really opened my eyes.
I love getting started with a new group of students.
You need something? Just ask.
Really supportive staff. This guy's hilarious.
Super smart people in my classes.
I learn as much from them as they do from me.
Boom, it just comes alive right here in the classroom.
So many groups to join. Debate club. The final draft.
Gamers of Durham, baby.
Practical nursing club. Business leadership initiative. Phi Beta Lambda.
Environmental Science Club.
Amigos Unidos. Spectrum.
Women's leadership club.
Soccer club.
كلاب كاستودنتيجا عالمية.
I found my home here.
This was the right choice. for me. We want students to be their best.
You're going to push yourself.
The people around you.
They make you better.
I didn't know I could do that.
But I did it.
To see what they're able to accomplish? Wow.
I had no idea what I was going to do.
The people here will help you figure it out.
It's so welcoming. Open arms.
They all said
there was just one thing
I had to do.
Do great things.
Hacer grandes cosas.
Do great things.
Let's do this.